is a software company that helps design experiences for companies all over the world. We've worked with World Bank, Saving Grains in Germany. We are currently working with MCN Ghana. We design most of their digital experiences. So most of the new things that are going to be rolled out this year and early next year are going to be from us. So today we'll be exploring how design shapes apps and products and we love using anyone at all. Yeah, Kelvin.
Can
Kelvin, you're not audible, Kelvin. Okay, Alexandra.
So I'll say the Duolingo app, even though I don't use it like right now, but then when I used to use it, I'll say that it was really nice to use. The experience
Oh,
was good.
okay. What do you like about it?
I'll say it's easy to navigate and it's fun, yeah, in a way. And it's not
Okay.
like too much too, but also not too little.
Oh,
Like a good balance.
okay. Okay. That's nice. Okay. Well, I'll get back to you. Let me hear from Ewonam first. I hope I'm
Okay,
pronouncing it.
so Ewenam. It's Ewenam.
Ewonam. Okay. All right.
Yes, please. Yeah. So I love the Locket app. I really like it a
Okay.
lot. And then the app that frustrates me, Snapchat. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Duolingo, Locket, and then Snapchat. Okay. Uh, what frustrates you about Snapchat?
They keep sending you memories of things that happened ages ago. Like, relax.
Okay. Mohammed. Hello, Mohammed. Okay. Mohammed isn't responsive. Kelvin.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, you're audible.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Good
Good
evening,
afternoon.
sorry.
Good evening.
So for
I was
me,
about to ask which country are you in?
so for me, the product I hate using a lot is Jira, the product management app, and
Jira.
the one I
Okay.
is the app I like using a lot is Luma. Um, it's a scheduling app where you can see um, events events you have registered for.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did you hate about Jira?
Like it's hard to find things and it's hard to do stuff on it. Like most basic things like creating boards is very hard to do it. There are a
Okay.
lot of features on it, and it sometimes looks overwhelming.
Okay. Okay, sure. I'll get back to that too. Um, Mohammed, can you speak now?
Yes, please, I can speak now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so what I want to say is that see when you subscribe for Snapchat Premium or the Plus,
Mm-hmm.
they call it the Plus, you get the chance to customize the app to what you want, like especially with the colors. Yeah, that's one thing I really like about UI and UX when it comes to Snapchat.
Okay, and do you have any app that frustrates you a lot?
That's
Frustrates you a lot that you don't like?
frustrates me. Um,
Frustrates
it's
you.
it's this management app. I've forgotten the name, but if I remember, I'll let you know. I've forgotten the name.
Click
I've
up.
forgotten. Said
Click up. I'm asking you to
no,
click
no, no,
up.
no, no.
Is
It's
it
normally on
Notion?
text. Yeah, Notion.
Mm, it's the same
Yeah,
for
Okay.
me.
it's very complicated.
Okay. All right. I'll get back to that too. And
Please, am I audible?
yes, you are.
Yes, I like using Snapchat.
Okay.
And mainly because I don't have to give out my phone number, and I can limit the number of people in my list, like so I can choose to add people and stuff. And I don't really have an app that I don't that frustrates me. None is coming to mind right now.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you, guys. So basically, what you guys have spoken about is basically most of the things you have spoken about is basically UX, your user experience. So today we're asking simple questions. So let me ask if anyone here understands or knows what UI is, and if anyone else can also, a different person can also give me what UX is. I told you it's going to be interactive, so please interact. Yeah,
Please, I think I have an idea about UI.
okay,
I think that's the part of the app that we the users see. Like maybe if you
okay,
open the app or a web page, the first part that we see in what it's like, how it appeals to us, if it's
okay,
visually appealing and all that. That's what I think it is.
okay. Alexandra, you want to answer what UX is?
So for UX, I think it's more or less like the user's feel or experience of the system. Because I
Okay,
both think it's the same, but then you having a good UI doesn't mean that the user experience is good. The
okay,
user interface might be attractive, but then if it's complicated and users can't really find where stuff are, then it's a bad user experience.
okay. All right, okay. James,
For me, what I understand of UX is understanding the user's need and then translating that need into the app flow or whatever you are building it for.
okay, all right. So you're all right. That's basically what UI is, and that's basically what UX is. So let me just give those who actually aren't clear about it a brief understanding, like a very simplified understanding of what it is. So basically, the user interfaces or UI is um, what you see, as Enam said, what you see. It's what you as a user interact with, the buttons, the text, the layout, the colors, how it's arranged. So when UI is well designed, you basically know what is supposed to be where. An example is when you are navigating a browser, you know where the close button is, you know where this button is, you know how to click on cancel here or that here or that here. That's when UI has been designed very, very well. Another example is what an image I'm showing here, the gamepad. For the boys that play games on their with console and like with Game Pass, you realize that maybe your very first week or two, you start yeah, when you're introduced to the pad, you look at the pad before you press X or Y or box or triangle or something like that. You look at it for directions for R2, L2, but after a while, you are now like used to it. So basically, when it's designed well, you don't have to think before or like not really think before clicking a button or canceling something or actually selecting something to move forward. That's basically UI. UI is how it looks like, how you interact with it, how the layout is, how buttons are, how text are, what you see and how you see it. UX is basically the how it works, how you interact with it, what frustrates you about the current um, application you are using. When the, as Alexandra said, they both work hand in hand. You can't have, when you have a good UI, you have a bad UX, users still get frustrated. When you have good UX and you have bad UI, it's still a frustration for users. So they work some sort of hand in hand. If you see here, this is an image of a cup. You can see that the cup is very nice. So this, let's say, it's a very nice UI. most ladies will be like, "Oh, this is a very nice car. It's designed in the shape of, or it's painted in the shape of an animal. This is very nice." So I look at the user here trying to drink from the cup. The ears of the bunny ears are basically poking the user's eye. That's bad UX. Another example is, let's say, a car. The dashboard where you see the speedometer and then probably the control volume and other things like that is the UI of the car. The UX is how the car feels like when you are driving the car. So imagine you're in a car and then you can't control the car's volume. You can't see what the car's volume is. All you know is that when you're trying to tune it, it's high, it's low. You don't know which side is high, which side is low, and it's just frustrating in the car. Another one is when you are in the trusty or any public transport at all, and then the car is vibrating and making noise and bringing out fumes and everything. How frustrated you are when you're in a car like that, or you're in a car and then the driver is making noise and then like there's noise everywhere, and then the car is also not moving well. That's basically a brief understanding of UI and UX. When when not done right, users don't notice it. When done right, users don't notice bad UI or bad UX. What you see, oh, this app is nice. This app is okay. And also to an extent, you can say UX or even UI is a bit subjective. So users sometimes differ from what they want. I think one of you mentioned that you don't one of the apps that frustrate you is Snapchat because you hate the fact that Snapchat gives you bad experiences. Because it reminds you of a moment you probably want to forget or something like that. You'll be there and there's Snapchat to say, hey, 3 years ago, this is what you were doing. You probably don't see or hear 3 years ago, that's what you're doing. Maybe I might want to see what I was doing 3 years ago, might be like, oh, sure, it's a flashback. Someone might hate it. That's a bad for that person. That person might consider that as bad UX for him. Someone might say, oh, the red color here is too bright. I can't see. That might be bad UI for that particular person. So it's a bit subjective. Please, if you have any questions, please let me know. You can raise your hand. So designers, yes, they design, but I would like to know if you know any other thing that designers actually do except design. Anyone can raise up their hand and say something if you know. Okay, and
I think designers also observe, like they observe the trends to see what people will tilt more to, their average preferences and all those things.
okay, okay. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay. So basically, yes, designers do, and I mean, you're very right. Designers do way more than that. If let's say design from 6, 7 years ago might look a bit different from how things are right now. So you'd notice that most of the phones or most of the devices that you're actually using are actually beginning to have the same look and feel. If you notice, people will be like, hey, Apple is copying Xiaomi is copying these people. What Samsung is doing, what Apple is doing, Samsung has already done. This feature that the Android users, iOS users are talking about or are flexing about, it's on Android devices already. Why are they making noise about it? It has to do with the trend that or the observation part that Enam was talking about. So basically, most things are um, trend wise in terms of design. Most things, not everything, most things. Some people start new trends too, but most things are trend wise. When they come, they are mostly out of research and other things like that. So other designers tend to follow what other people are doing. So these are some of the other things designers do. So ideally, when design is about to start, we don't just stand up and then, as a designer, you shouldn't just stand up and then say, oh, okay, sure. They said, let me design a food delivery app. Okay, you open your design tool, and then at once you start designing a food delivery app without actually doing proper research. Research is actually our very first step. We want to understand who our users are and what our users are, what they like to do, what are their pain points. Pain points are basically the things that frustrate the user base you are going for. So let me give you a brief example. I should have added that to the slide. Let me give you a brief example. Two apps. Who here has heard of the Night Market app? It's an app that is used for food delivery, especially on University of Ghana. Okay, so there is Night Market app and then there's Bolt app. Night Market was actually built for um, students. It was built for students, just for students, and they've now pivoted. But first, the main aim was to build it for students. And both food was built for, see, the general public. They are both food delivery apps, but if you notice, you see that one app is actually tailored towards the university students. So university students are setting their locations and other things based on, or they are getting vendors based on where they are. If the student is actually located somewhere around Pence or the usual hostels, you see that the food vendors are located around them. The markups on night market, even though the vendors might be similar, the markup on night market app aren't as high as both food. Both food might create a markup 20% across all boards. So they'll say, okay, sure, if you are selling your food for 100 cedis, let's make it 120 cedis. And then that's what the public is going to consume. That's what our users are going to pay for. But night markets will say, no, we are selling to students. Students can't afford that much markup. Night market might also say riders are on campus, so the distance between pickup and drop off is very, very small. So we don't need to charge them too much for delivery. That's an example of a company that has done research to suit the user base that is currently there. So after research is done, we don't also stand up and then we just jump and then say, okay, sure, I'm going to design. We draw wireframes. Wireframes are basically sketches that of what we want to do. You say, oh, maybe if you want to go into UI UX, you say, oh, I can't draw or I don't know how to design. So how do you expect me to draw wireframes? Wireframes aren't really um, detailed drawings. They are more like lines and boxes that you can easily use to navigate, like show that, okay, sure, after I sign up, I want the user to go to this particular section. They help you think fast, they help you explore ideas. Then that's when you can say, okay, sure, after wireframing, and you've now understood that, okay, this is what my users want. So this is how I want my flow to be. That's when you can actually go to the design. The design is where you actually make everything make sense. That's where you create mockups, you pick up your fonts, your colors, your like general the beautification. That's when you actually bring the UI into existence. So you can see that from the beginning, from the research point of view, you are thinking more of the UX point of view. You are thinking of how the user feels like. You're thinking of the user's pain points, the user's frustrations. If people like Enam are your user base, and then you've spoken to multiple users, and you are designing for Snapchat, you understand that she doesn't want to see her memories. So you can make the memory side optional for her. So anytime she opens the app, don't show her memories, don't show her the videos or pictures of things she did 5, 6 years ago. That's if you're doing your research and then your users, that's what your users want. They don't want to see their memories. So that's research, more of UX, wireframe, a bit of UX and UI, and then design is more of the UI side of it, where you've taken all your research and then you are bringing everything to light. That's where now users can see what the app is going to look like. The prototype side is more of where you test what you've done. So designers just don't build or just design, we also test. So when we are done with mockups, most of the time, we are done design, most of the time, you might design and you might think that, oh, this is the best design ever. Your users might think something else. They might feel like, nah, this is not what we want. So usually, um, designers conduct interviews and then tests to prototype and then show them a clickable version of what the app is going to look like. This app hasn't been built yet, so much time hasn't been spent building the app. The user will just click through it, just clickable version, just click through like, okay, sure, this is not right, this is not right. When you speak to a pool of testers, you understand that, okay, sure, it will help you make informed decisions. Okay, they don't want a cancel button here, they want it here. They want to start from here and end here. That helps you know what the user wants before the company or the organization actually spend time to build the platform. Okay, so let's talk about some of the common tools that designers use. There's Figma, there's Sketch, there's XD. There are other popular ones, but I would always recommend Figma because Figma is free, it's beginner friendly, but fair warning, when you start, you might probably lose track of time because it's it's evolving. I'm saying fair warning because it's most designers I know have fallen in love with Figma. It's easy for you to actually learn on Figma. It's 1 minute you are adjusting one button, the next minute you are designing till midnight. So it's very, very easy for you to actually fall in love with it. So it's the most beginner friendly one I can actually suggest. When you are okay and you think you are, or it's clear that you're now fine, you can explore other ones like Sketch and XD. These are the most important skill I think you should learn. When you are beginning, most companies or most organizations or most clients in general aren't really expecting you to do too much. But these four points are very, very important. The Every client or anyone you're working with expects you to understand visual design. In as much as UX and user research is very, very important. If it doesn't look nice for UI, no one will want it. If it doesn't look nice, no one will want it. Common ground, it should look nice, it should be beautiful. And some things like color, typography, spacing, and then hierarchy. I didn't add hierarchy and hierarchy are some of the very, very important visual components you should actually learn. They help you actually see what they help make visualization a bit easier. Yes. And
Please, when you say hierarchy, please, what do you mean?
okay. Hierarchy. Let me give you a clear example of hierarchy. Let me show you hierarchy. So hierarchy is basically how you arrange text and probably objects in terms of how big and small they are and their importance. So let's say this is a header and this is a subtext. The most important information I'm trying to communicate here is getting started with UX. When you open most apps, you see that um, an app can have a header, small text. Sometimes they use colors. You see that the text is being written, and then even in normal graphic design, you see that the text is being written, and then in one section, they've highlighted it with red or a very, very prominent color, or it's bolder, it's bigger, it's arranged in a certain way for you to actually read it in a certain way to show you that some things are more important than some. You understand?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's continue. So yeah, so color, typography, spacing, and then probably hierarchy are the most important ones. The next one I'll probably say is user research. When you understand people and you're working with clients, and you understand people, it's and you understand what the users want. When you're done designing for the client or company or whoever you're working with, you'll be surprised to see that most of them you rather get more information than what the client has given you. Probably the client wants you to build an app for not to be an enough for university students. When you come up with things like, oh, okay, sure, since it's for university students, why don't we indicate their halls in there instead of opening it and then making it like bold food where you just have to pick your location? Maybe let's let them indicate their halls. It makes it look makes the user feel like you're actually thinking or you are basing the app on their pain points. You are not making it a bit too difficult. So the rider won't get there and say, oh, where are you? What are you doing? You don't use Google Map and then you say you mistakenly input the wrong location, or maybe you are at Elizabeth C or any other hall, and then you moved the app didn't pick up your new location, and then now you're having issues with the rider being here while you are here. You've paid for it already. It's getting late. All those things are things that you should consider. So understanding people and then doing a little bit of research is some sort of a basic skill. It's not too basic, but it's a basic skill that you should try to understand. The next one is prototyping. Prototyping might seem easy sometimes, but when you are testing with users, you might see how difficult prototyping is. Prototyping is, as I said earlier, you actually giving the user a clickable version of what you've designed, making it come to life. The last point is communication. Communication is very, very, very important. As a user, you can spend hours or sometimes you can spend more time explaining to um, the clients or people what your design actually means, or trying to communicate the decisions you've made in your design. If you don't know how to communicate very well, especially to clients rather than even users, you'll find that you'll see that clients will always want changes. And most clients don't know, with design especially, they don't know what they want till you've done something. So let's say you spend 3 hours, 4 hours figuring out how a particular screen will look like, and then the user comes up, and the customer or the client comes up, or your boss comes up and he says that, oh no, why are you using black here? Or why is it this bold? Nah, it's too small. You have to actually explain to the client. You should be able to explain to the client or the your boss that, okay, so this is why we are doing this way, because we expect you just expect this to be bolder. You just expect that this is what we're trying to communicate to the user. We want the user to select this before they select this. We want the user to know that, okay, sure, this is very, very important. An example of that is when you are filling an input field and then you see that there's an asterisk there, and then if you don't do it, it indicates red. That is they communicating to you that, okay, sure, this is very, very important. You can't move unless you have filled this. So this input field is very, very important. So you knowing how to talk to clients, communicate to clients, there are lots of videos around it, like communicating to clients, talking to clients, explaining your decisions, what you've done, how you've done it. And if you know, you will notice that you can't do or communicate well about your design decisions if you don't know the first three, especially the first two. If you don't know about color, typography, spacing, and hierarchy, it's going to be difficult for you to tell your boss or a client that these are important. So this is why I did it this way. So these skills are very, very important, and then learning them will help you communicate well with users and then clients. So how to get started? The basic most important thing about starting UI UX or being a UI UX designer is redesign it. You can't create new things by yourself right now because um, you don't know what is good and what is bad. You might think you do, but you don't. The truth is you don't at all. You don't know what is good, you don't know what is bad. So redesigning apps and websites as often as you can is the most important thing. So you pick a website or an app. When I mean redesign, I don't mean you actually creating something new. For like when you're starting, you can pick WhatsApp, you can pick Snapchat, you can screenshot the screen, put it in the Canva, and then just start designing. You put the put the frame side by side with the image you've screenshotted, and then you just design the same thing you are seeing. everything. The same thing. Let's try copying it. Like every single detail should be on point. Let's try duplicating the same screen. What will happen is that you see that it's indirectly teaching you what to do at some point in time. You screenshot a sign up or a login page. You will understand that a sign up or a login page requires some level of information, probably not too much information. You'll be learning some things and then you understand what they are sometimes. So after a while, so you do something and you'll be like, oh, okay, so this is why WhatsApp didn't do this. This is why they did it like this. This is why now WhatsApp is doing this. This is why they are doing that. Let me give you an example. I think for those who use Snapchat, you see that now Snapchat allows you to transcribe your audio when you send audio. Begin at the beginning, you're like, ah, why? If I can play it and I can listen to it, why are they transcribing it for me? But I think you will understand that they started and talk about, okay, sure, what happens when someone, the person can't actually play a voice note, or what the user is saying or the other user is saying, I can't really hear. So maybe the transcription is going to be best for me, or the user is deaf. That's another UX feature. The user is deaf and the user cannot actually listen to the voice note you sent. So the user transcribing it and then reading the transcription of what you sent is very simple for them. You would learn these things without actually knowing that, okay, sure, this is important. So one day you'll be designing a social media app or platform for someone and you add it. You'll be like, ah, why are we adding this to it? You might not even know why you're adding it to it. The person will be like, oh, that's nice, that's nice. It's a cool feature. The person you're designing for probably isn't familiar with Snapchat and doesn't know that that feature is there. If the client might feel like, oh, you're actually being proactive, you are thinking outside the box, you are doing more. Meanwhile, you've redesigned the screen somewhere and then you send it, and then you're just duplicating what you send and then for a new platform. That's how most companies and most designers recycle things they've learned from other sites on other platforms and websites. Then the next thing is to learn daily. People or let me say companies or other platforms and startups and other, they don't emphasize enough how much effort and dedication you actually need to learn. They say, oh, you can learn coding in 3 months, you can learn design in 3 months. Yes, you would understand, you get a fair knowledge on what you are supposed to do, how you're supposed to do it. But the truth is that most of the truth they fail to tell people that are starting up fresh is that you you won't earn money learning 3 months. If you take Figma for the first 3 months and then you start designing, if you get your first gig in 3 months, you are very lucky. You would be like one in a million or one in 100,000. You are very lucky that someone will put trust in you or pay you to design something after just picking up Figma for 3 months. Then probably you're exceptional and then you've done it. It's not that you can't do a lot in 3 months. You can. But once you start earning the money that you think will be very, very significant for you, you have to learn daily for a very long time. And even if you pick it up for 3 months and you want to be very, very good in 3 months or good to an extent in 3 months, you have to learn every single day. If you skip a day, you can add hours, you can put settings that, okay, sure, I want to learn Figma in 3 months. Okay. You can set, okay, I'll use 3, 4 months or 3, 4 hours every day or 2 hours every day to learn Figma or to learn UI UX. So you open the canvas, make sure you open the canvas every single day. No updates. It's very, very important because you should also understand that in this same market that you're trying to learn, we are competing with people who are outside um, the country. You're competing with people in the US, people that are learning what you are learning right now on this call in high school, in JHS. They are being shown. I actually saw a video some time ago of kids in, I think, kindergarten, and then they've given them tablets and then they are playing around with French and Figma. Those are the people who are actually going to compete for jobs with. So it's very, very important that you understand that it is not simple as how they say it is, and then you actually need to wake up every single day. If you're on social media a lot, your feed should be more centered around design. It's very important. The next step is getting feedback. Show your work, don't hide it. Sometimes when you start learning design fresh, or like you are very, very new to design, you notice that you do I don't want to say shitty, excuse my language, but you do shitty things, very, very bad things. You do things that aren't nice, but you shouldn't you shouldn't be discouraged about it. That's how it is with everything. When you are learning something new, it's it takes time. So from the beginning, your first few designs will be bad. Your second few will also be bad. Your third few might well be even bad too. But after a while, you see that you start arguing around fonts, font style, font weight. You start maybe enthused about something that you shouldn't be enthused about. But these things actually come when you show people what you are doing. You show other seniors what you are doing. You pick mentors. I can't emphasize on how important it is to actually get mentors and then in the design field or any tech field at all. It cuts down your learning time by probably half. You showing your work to design to senior designers, you getting multiple feedback from about so one screen you designed, you can get about 6, 7 feedback from multiple people. It's going to be very, very important. It's going to help you actually know a lot. Um, you can get designs ideas from sites like Dribble, Behance, and then Mobbing. These sites have images that you can actually easily copy and then do something. After a while, you design for a while, it's going to be easy for you to actually build a portfolio and then or design a portfolio. Basically, 2 or 3 apps that you've redesigned or you've designed from scratch. Maybe you have a great idea, a very nice idea. You can design it, show it to 3 or 4 senior designers. You get feedback, you work on it, and then now you can actually show it on larger scale. That's how you actually get started. Common mistakes beginners make. They design for themselves. You don't design for the user. As I said, research is very important. You should make sure that you are designing for a user. You're not building or you're not designing the app for yourself. No one is paying you to do it for yourself. You are doing it for people to use. You should make sure that you are doing it with them in mind. And then the next one is ignoring feedback or ignoring testing. You say, oh, because I learned that hierarchy is supposed to be like this. So the users and then probably other designers are saying that don't do it like this. Like I think this we can't see this text. Like, oh no, I want to show hierarchy. So this is as small as I can make it. The other one should be big and this one should be small. It's very important for you to actually take feedback and then actually work on feedback as a designer because as I said, it's not for you, it's for the users. And then after a while, before after a while, you should know that you shouldn't just copy the designs again. You should actually understand why this is this way and why that is that way. You can easily ask any other senior designer to see why WhatsApp is doing things this way, why they are doing things that way. Focusing on visuals only, not the problem. The problem is the most important thing you're trying to solve here. Customers or users will actually, or clients and your bosses, when you start working, will actually give you problems that they think users are facing. It's up to you to actually find ways and means to solve them and then present them visually. So that is some of the common mistakes that people think. So this is not graphic design where you wake up and then you say, okay, sure, I want to design this particular screen. So let me just do it. No, you should understand that you are trying to solve a problem. You are trying to make life easier for some people here. So that is how you. That is what channeling the designs you're actually making. Okay, so these are some resources that I think you can try and get if you are beginning. Um, if you want PDFs, I can send them later. I'll send them to Zenas and then he'll share them with you. Don't make me think by Steve Krog. It's a very, very nice book. It helps you understand the user's point of view and then the design of everyday things also by Don Norman. Don Norman is one of our some people call him the father of UX. His book also explains a lot about design, how design should be and what you should and how you should design. There are other YouTube channels, and then AJ and Smart Plus Academy. The course that I think helps beginners the most is the Google UX design course on Coursera. I don't know if they still waive there's a loophole around waiving the fee. I don't know if it's still there, but here that's the most important. That's I think one of the best courses that covers a lot under UI UX. There are communities in Ghana too that you can join. These communities usually host programs from time to time that you can go for these programs, meet designers, listen to how they've how they began, what they are doing now. This information might seem like trivial to you, especially from the going for community programs and other things like that. But it's very, very important. You see that a designer is actually making a mistake you are making now, and he's explaining to you how to avoid those mistakes. So it's also important for you to join communities. Your social media shouldn't only be about memes and things like that. It should be memes and jokes and other dance and other things like that. It should be channeled towards what you actually also try to study. So you'll be getting more resources, more videos, more information around design just by scrolling through TikTok or Instagram. And it also helps you see what and keeps you up to date on what people are doing. On X and other social media platforms, you will see designers actually pushing out new things. You see that trends sometimes start from these social media platforms. You might see something that's very nice. You design it, and then the next day it looks like a trend now. Everyone is doing what you did probably 6 or 7 months ago. It helps you stay ahead of the trend too. Staying ahead of the trend is important because you do things and then now it looks like people are copying you. You saw it somewhere, you modified it a bit, and then now it looks like people are copying you. So it's also important to stay up to date with what um, you are doing. I tried to cut it down so we can finish in an hour. So I'm done enough talking. I want to hear from you if you have any questions. Yes, I know.
Please, the e-flyers that people make, like the small business advertisements, is it also UI UX?
They are more graphic design. They don't usually consider UI UX is more like um, you are considering what the user wants and then you are building or designing towards that. So UI UX is how should I put it? Those ones are more graphic than UI UX. So they are e-flyers and then probably the innovation of creating the e-flyer is the UI UX. Do you understand? So someone sitting down thinking, okay, sure, we now need e-flyers. We now need things like QR code. We don't need people saying go to www.innovotechlab.com or go to this.com. It's it's too stressful or sometimes it's a pain point for most users. So let's use QR code. Let's use an e-flyers. The creation of that is more UI UX. The user or now people designing e-flyers isn't UI UX. It's more graphic design than UI UX.
Okay, thank you very much.
You are welcome. Richmond.
Yeah, my question is about how do you come up with color palettes for your projects?
How do I come up? There are sites that help you come up with color palettes, but funny enough, I believe in training your eyes. The more you do, the more it feels more like second nature to you. So it's like those who sleep and wake up and then they decide to pick their phones up, like because the phone is close to them. So it's now second nature. You wake up and then you don't find your phone and you start panicking because that's what you do. Those who wake up and then they do their morning devotion, if they don't do it, I don't know if you have things you do like naturally every single day. It comes to you naturally. Some people can't sleep without brushing their teeth twice. Some people can't do this without doing that. It's after a while the color palette. I don't say it comes to you naturally, but Yes, it comes to you naturally. So you train, you use this site, Dribble, Mobbing especially. Mobbing has screenshots of your most popular apps. So you see Duolingo there, you see Airbnb there, you see apps that have designers, 50, 60, 100 designers in their company working just to create the same screens. So you'd understand that they are being very, very intentional about every single thing they are doing. The more you train your eyes, the more you. Generative color palette is one of the, I don't say it's one of the easiest things, but it's more trivial than some of the other things. After a while, it's second nature to you. There are sites that help you generate color palettes, but after a while, it's a bit easier than it seems. Are you struggling with generating um, color palettes now, Richmond?
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing I'll ask is most of the time, don't just jump into when I say learn about colors, don't just jump into red is good, black is white. No, learn about contrast. Um, some colors are visible, more visible under bright light. Some aren't. There's a reason why people use, or most people are now falling in love with dark mode in our side of the world. When you're outside and the sun is scorching very, very hard, you don't want to strain your eyes looking at what is on the phone, like trying to look at what's on the phone because or lowering your brightness and high. No, I don't want to do that. So there's a reason. So that's the reason why probably people fall in love more with dark mode, or when it's in the night and you don't want to strain your eyes, you don't want to look at white bright screens. So there's a reason why people actually colors are actually selected. If you can learn why colors are selected and what they're selected for, you'd understand. There's a reason why health apps are usually blue. Their colors have meaning. If you can learn what they mean, you can. It's going to come more of second nature to you. So now there will be a time where yes, selecting a color is going to be one of the most tedious things for you. But it's going to be tedious because you now understand what you are doing. Generating color palettes, you can just type color palettes on Google and then you see different sites that give you color palettes. That if you use, sure, they will make sense. But if you don't understand what those colors mean or um, the people you are giving those colors to, if let's say you're designing for people who are colorblind and then most of your colors are not suited for them, you realize that in the end, half of your user base aren't seeing what you are designing. You design and then they can't see what they're doing. So don't stress too much about color palettes. Stress more under what the colors mean. It's going to really help. It's going to make things very, very easy for you. Have I answered your question? Or you want me to give you the site I use for to generate my color palettes?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll give it to you later. Any more questions? Questions? Please ask questions. Okay. So can I ask questions? All right. So who can give me like and I'm not just answer the question.
No, I was just going to respond to your question.
Okay. So who can give me uh, sorry about this. Am I audible? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I want someone to give me like an app and mention a clear user pain point or a clear frustration you think everyone or you think most people are actually going through. It can be anything at all, any app at all. So you can someone use who Okay, Alexandra.
Okay, so when it comes to the Notion app, I mean, I've discussed this
Yeah.
with someone before, and it's like it's very complex, and like it has like so many features that most of the time the regular everyday users don't really need. And then it's
Okay.
something, if you want to get a hang of it, you have to really talk to someone who has used it for a while. It's not something that if you just decide to like intuition to just navigate, it will be easy for you.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I know most people struggle with motion. Even with when I began using motion, I struggled a lot. One thing that it's important in UX and then user experience and user design is that you should sometimes communication is very, very important when you are beginning with Notion like this. Do you know that, Alexander, do you know that Notion has templates that usually suits most of the things you wanted to do?
Yeah,
Have you seen that
noted.
template?
Yeah.
Did, did you notice that template quite early or later?
I said after using for like 2 or 3 days, then I noticed
That's
the
what
templates.
exactly. I think one thing that Notion fails to advertise a lot is their templates. They fail to let beginners know that templates are there to these templates are there to actually make your work quite easier. So use those templates. You would realize that after using Notion for a while, struggling to use it, right, struggling to do what you actually want to do. When you click on it, when you find the templates out, you see that the templates actually have a simplified version of whatever you want to do, or it has arranged it based on how you want it to actually look like. But it won't tell you, or the system won't actually make it prominent enough to see that these templates are actually there and that these templates can help. So yes, that's true. Notion is an example of a system that's actually quite difficult for users to use when they're starting. But once you get the hang of it, it's a very, very powerful tool. Any other questions? Or any other apps that anyone is struggling with or having any frustration with? Or yes, or any other app you think has beautiful experience that you want to talk about? Consoles and terminals. Okay, like consoles or terminals in general.
General consoles and terminals, like the black and white screen.
Okay, they are sorry. So that asking questions here, I didn't see them. Sorry. Okay, so there are. I see from a point of view where it's a frustration, like you struggle to use consoles and terminals.
Nah, I don't actually struggle.
Oh yeah, sure, sure. It's true. It's true. If you're a beginner and then you are new to consoles and terminals, for the very first time, actually, most people actually know what they are going into with tech, and then they understand and they see things like that already before they do it. But if you open the console and terminal for someone who is actually new, sometimes when you're even working with some type of console and some terminal, when you customize it a little bit, people think you're hacking because things keep loading and everything, and then it feels like you are doing a lot. So yes, to an extent, consoles and terminals are not that user friendly for people who actually don't know what they are doing. It's a common joke among developers. Yeah, that's true. Any other ones? Richmond said, can I talk a little bit about color theory? Richmond, is it clear why I should talk about it? I just saw the message.
Okay now.
You're okay now, right? Sure. Okay. Are we okay? I know there's some designers here. Are they? Is there anyone who actually wants to start or venture into UI UX? You can show off hand. John, only John. Okay. John David. Okay, John and Coleman. David's hands is down. Okay. My social media platform, Wilson underscore design on Instagram. You can DM me. Please, when you DM, please go straight to the point. The design is, I'm leaving it in the chat. Wilson underscore design. For those who are actually developers, and then maybe we'll have a separate call some other time on how, as a developer, or as a developer, it's important. It's the importance of UI UX to you as a developer. We'll have that call later. For those who actually are developers and then they don't want to do UI UX, but they actually want to understand it, because it's very important for you as a developer to understand UI UX. Sometimes point out that this isn't right or this isn't doable, because part of being a designer is you understanding developer experience, that your developer can't actually build this or do this. So maybe some other time we'll have calls around it. Thank you for your time. We spent over an hour. Yeah, a little bit over an hour. For those who want to venture to UI UX, my handle is there. It's at Wilson underscore DSGN. You can reach out to me. Thank you very much. For those in the InnovoTech Labs, hopefully I join your call next week. Bye bye. Are you in InnovoTech Lab? Has she left?
Yes, please, I am.
Okay. What about Alexandra?
I am as well.
Okay. I'll reach out to Senas and then I'll get you guys what I promised.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Thank you for joining the call. Bye bye.
Bye.